Hello, welcome, beautiful, vibrant souls. So I wanted to do a collective reading, which is going to be loving and encouraging words of advice from your guides. I will be honest, this is because I just got the prototype in for a new message deck that I've created that will hopefully be available for purchase in like March or so. So keep an eye out for that. This is the Loving Words Oracle. So today we're just going to be looking at, like I said, loving words from your guides. I will say, for those of you who also follow me on TikTok, first of all, thank you. I did a similar reading on TikTok today. These two are not related, not connected. So just keep that in mind. I'm trying to fix my little belt here. She's not quite sitting exactly like she's supposed to, but that's okay. We like a little bit of a rebel. So I want to first and foremost pull some tarot to kind of figure out what this is referring to, what situation in your life, and what you need to hear. So, excuse my burp. All right, 3 cards just flip themselves over. Oh, we have Death, Scorpio energy. We have the Page of Cups, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, and the Ace of Wands. A lot of you, you're going through this renewal. There is an inner child healing that is taking place. For some, this is just an emotional, like spiritual renewal when it comes to healing the inner child. And for others, this is having to do with your creativity. You know, in this version of the Page of Cups, she's got the goldfish. It always makes me think of kind of, you know, growing past your limitations or growing past your container. So there is a sense here where your guides kind of want you to prepare for the fact, just because coupled with death, prepare for the fact that you're about to sort of be expanding past your limitations, your container. I'm looking at the Ferris wheel in the background of the Page of Cups. And there's something about it's time for you to see things from a higher perspective. It's time for you to get a higher, higher vantage point on something. Because you've done a lot of work to prepare for this, right? The Death card, it is transformation, it is change, it is endings. But this is not overnight, right? You know, it's an organic change. The writing is on the wall for quite a long time. It always follows the Hanged Man, meaning we've had a shift in perspective. We have seen things from a new light, and thus that kind of allows the transformation to occur more smoothly, or allows the transformation to take place in the first place, right? Like I always say with the Hanged Man, especially when it comes out reversed, when we finally kind of surrender to this new way of thinking, this new way of being, that's when we welcome in the change, right? We are ready for the change. We understand that something needs to evolve, it needs to shift. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So right off the bat, that's kind of what I'm seeing, but I'd like to clarify this Page of Cups a little bit more deeply. Yes, is that one? Okay. What was at the bottom before? Yeah, the Tower. Whenever, that's so funny. Whenever both Death and the Tower make themselves known in a reading, and they show up, they say hi. For me, this is where, you know, the Tower it's also endings and big shifts. But it's more like it's a sharp left turn, right? So whenever I see both show up in a reading, this can be where there is seemingly like this sort of big, like, you know, big sharp turn here. It's like, whoa, but it's actually something you've been working toward for a long time. So for some, I feel like for many of you, you've already had this, or you just had this. You might be going through it right now. There's a big Tower shift, but it is kind of the culmination point of a lot of work you've been doing to transform, particularly at an internal level, just because of the reference of the Hanged Man to the Death card. Excuse me, I'm sorry. My allergies are just awful, she says with the flowers she put next to her desk. It's okay, it's different. They're little indoor flowers. So I do kind of want to acknowledge that, as that some of you, again, for most of you, I feel like this Tower moment has already happened. So clarifying the Page of Cups, love bugs. Yeah, the Empress. Okay, look at her. Taurus and Libra showing up. And Strength, wow, Leo showing up as well. We have a lot of fixed sign energy here. A lot of you are kind of either like older souls or more established on your spiritual journey. I mean, this isn't my first rodeo, so maybe spiritual evolution, like this is you know, you're not new to this, you're not green on this one, you know, you got your feet wet a little bit. But there's something where yeah, there's just really something where creativity is a huge thing. Sorry, I'm getting like multiple messages, so I'm trying to like sift through them in a way that's concise, distill them down into something something a little bit easier to digest. So these clarifying the Page of Cups, right? There's an inner child healing, especially to your creativity. Because for you guys, your creativity is heavily linked to your heart chakra. Something that I'm getting. Not saying it's not linked to, you know, your sacral or your throat, as they typically are, but for you guys in particular, your creativity is heavily linked to your heart chakra. So a lot of you guys may have been experiencing creative blocks. You could have Taurus or Libra in your 12th house. You could have Venus in your 12th house, or have either of any of those in your 8th house as well. Just some interaction between karmic past life placements and then that Venusian energy. However that might play out, there's a lot of different ways. Could have, you know, South Node there, Chiron, could have Saturn. This is Saturn now, apparently. Yeah, you could have Venus and Scorpio is another thing I'm seeing. There's a lot of ways that could play out. Anywho, possibly in Leo as well, just because strength is here. So because of this, you may have been experiencing a lot of creative blocks, a lot of karmic blocks, whether it's like you're literally creatively blocked, you can't make it happen, or no matter how hard you try, your work seems to go unnoticed or unappreciated. People don't understand your art. This is something that you've been working with for a long time. And this is also because, sorry, I'm just getting so many downloads about this. Your creativity is something that is channeled from the divine realms, right? And when our intuition, our emotions are linked. And so oftentimes when we're going through healing of the heart, or we're going through some emotional stress and strain, it does impact our intuition, right? Our intuition might not be as strong. It's kind of like because our energy is predominantly taken up with healing. So where your creativity is also linked to your emotional energy, to your heart chakra, as you were working through all of these things, that may have been kind of almost creating like a block, like a creative block here, because your energy really needed to go toward working through very challenging karmic cycles, it feels. And with strength, you really had to like, excuse me, you really had to show like, your metal has been tested. There we go. Some of you, this is very much having to do with the way you communicate, because I'm struggling to get my words out. So you've really had to, like, you've had your metal tested here, and you've had to show up and be really willing to grow. I think for you guys, we have a lot of really strong energies with death, you know, the Empress, strength. For you guys, this new cycle is all about being able to embrace the inner child and the vulnerability that you have. You may have had to fight through a lot, right? You may have had to really overcome. Again, this is not your first rodeo. And so this is less about being in a survival-based mindset and more about being in an expansive, creativity-based mindset, right? You're not just trying to survive anymore. You're not just, doing what you got to do to get by. You're doing what you want to do. You're doing what you're called to do. Excuse me. This is an expansion. And your guides just kind of want to talk to you about that. A lot of you guys are having these really big breakthroughs. I feel like that tower and death, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I feel like that tower and death energy was the breakdown that we saw. This Ace of Wands is the breakthrough. So what is this Ace of Wands about? The Six of Wands. Look at you. I freaking love that. Oh, I really love that. That just makes my heart so happy. Yep, the tower. You guys, hang on. And the Fool is at the bottom. So here's what you guys need to know. A lot of you guys have had, like we talked about, there's been a breakdown with Tower and Death. With the Tower and Death. There we go. There's been a breakdown in some way, shape, or form. What was this breakdown? The Hierophant. Some of you had to get out of a commitment. Some of you have left a marriage. You are leaving a marriage. Some of you have left a religious, a religion, a religious community, a religious discipline in order to strike out and find what is true to you. But there's a sense with that Hierophant energy, and again, more Taurus, more fixed sign energy. There is a sense where you have learned all the spiritual lessons of this old cycle. So these are clarifying, you know, Six of Wands, the Tower, clarifying the Ace of Wands. Not only have you had this breakdown, right? Something that may have seemed foundational or used to be foundational has actually been shown to be quite shaky in your life and thus been dismantled. It's not as, I'm almost seeing this, you know, in this deck, the Tower also has lots of cracks in it. It's hard to see, but it is there. I'm almost seeing where imagine the Tower, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Imagine the Tower itself is very solid, but it just like breaks off and falls off the like shitty foundation. That's kind of what I'm getting here. There's something where it's like the foundations you have built up yourself and your life on, especially at a spiritual level, or like what has taught you spiritually, the foundations of those experiences, that doesn't apply anymore. That doesn't fit. That's not stable for you. But what you have built of yourself on top of that, right? The person you have become as a result is, right? So maybe it was a religion that you're no longer identifying with. Maybe that was, you know, that's the crummy foundation. 11:11, as I said that. Maybe that was the crummy foundation, but maybe your religion provided you, you know, a sense of community or values, a belief system. And so even if you don't apply it to that religion anymore, you might say, I like being somebody who volunteers, who takes care of my community. I like being somebody who, you know, is giving to others, right? Who is conscientious of others, you know, who prays for others. So it's just like an example off the top of my head. If it was like a marriage, maybe that marriage wasn't right for you. But there's a sense here where it's like, okay, it taught me to be a committed person. It taught me to, you know, really stand by these values that I, you know, say are important, that I proclaim are important. So there's a sense here where who you have become, who you have built yourself into, is a solid person, but the foundation is now shifting and changing. And this also could just be the foundation of moving, like I said, from survival to creation, which I could talk about that at length. That has been a part of my own personal journey. So if you guys ever want to hear a little bit more about like that concept, please feel free to let me know, because if you put the mic in my hands, I won't shut the hell up. So be careful. But so not only has this broken down in order to have that breakthrough, what you guys need to know with the Six of Wands as well, and again, both of these clarifying this Ace of Wands, there we go. What you guys need to know is you are about to have, I'm hearing, landmark success. Some of you, you're about to like go viral. You're about to maybe become famous. Some of you are about to get a very high up job within a company. So maybe it's not like famous, but like you're going to be in a position where you're seen, you're leading a team. You're going to be in a position where other people are like, oh yeah, that's the boss. Like, oh yeah, that person's like, yeah, that they're looking at you as a representation of accomplishment in some way, shape, or form. And you need to know this. You need to know that not only have you had a breakdown recently, I'm feeling within the last 3 months for most of you. Some of you, it's within the last 5 months, and at the most 15 months. So take that as it resonates. Not only have you had like this like breakdown, but similarly, the Tower is now going to be coming in probably during Aquarius season. This is a timeless reading, but the time I'm filming it, it is Aquarius season. And I say that because the Tower energy it is technically Mars, which is, you know, Aries and Scorpio, but it always kind of gives me that Uranian sort of sharp left turn Aquarian energy. So for some, this will be Aquarius season, possibly up through the spring. But you need to know this. You are about to hit some massive success. Again, landmark success. What was the other card we pulled? Woo! Judgment is... Woo! All right. Kind of like hot flashes over here. This is some good shit. I like this. You guys have been really working hard. Look at my major arcana. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those 8 cards are major arcana. That's some spicy shit. This is a very, very big, I have to cover it because YouTube is afraid of butts and boobs, apparently. Sorry. I say that all the time as like my little spiel about it, but like sometimes it just makes me laugh. Like I forgot about the word boobies until recently, but like, oh yeah, that's kind of funny. Because I'm a child at heart. And sometimes it'll work. Anyway, anywho, excuse me. I'm gonna stop laughing about the word boobies. Okay, I'm good. I'm fine. I'm an adult. This is a massive turning point in your life. Like I said, you're moving from, many of you are moving from like survival mode. You also could be moving from the karmic path to the dharmic path. You are moving into an incredibly different life experience, right? This is a second act entirely. And you guys need to know that this is going to be, whatever this success is, this is going to be life-changing for you. And your guides really want to bring that to you. What is the Six of Wands? If you guys are in the public, if you guys make content, especially, you are online, people are going to be eating this shit up. Like, you will not be able to, can't beat them off with a stick. Like, whatever you make is gonna just touch, I would say turn to gold. And we have the King of Pentacles. Whenever I see Wands and Pentacles together, right? King, mixture of like both of the kings, both of the queens, king and queen from either, but a mixture of Wands and Pentacles. That is an entrepreneur to me. If you guys want to start a business, you're going to have it's going to be a very fortuitous time to be doing that. If you want to put a project out online, friggin' do it, baby. Because like, you could film yourself farting in a jar right now and you'd still be getting like 1 million fans. Probably more than that. That's the energy, right? There's a sense here with the King of Pentacles and the King of Wands. Whatever you are trying to put out there is going to be money. It's going to be successful. And it's also going to be very stable and long lasting. And again, this is because you've done a lot of internal personal work, right? You have gifts of the soul that you have developed through some other cycles in your life, some other way of living. And now you're ready to take everything, that tower imagery we talked about, and move it into this brand new cycle. It's kind of like you got a shitload of your work out of the way early, and now you're like relatively early in your life, and now you're set up for, like, again, I'm getting a second act kind of an energy. So no matter how old you are, it's kind of like a second act. This is the good stuff. So, and the thing to keep in mind, the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands, they are, excuse me, they are highly magnetic, right? This is why they can put anything out there to the public and it will sell like hotcakes. Sorry, I'm still laughing. Like, you could fart in a jar. So, sometimes the things that, the intrusive thoughts that manage to still make their way out surprise me, and it's kind of funny to me. Anywho, they can put anything out there and people will eat it up. People will follow it, will want to be doing it, right? They're going to want to, like, you're going to have 1 million people copying you, kind of a thing. But part of the reason why is because, yes, the wand suit is our creativity, but the wand suit is also our spiritual energy. And the king and queen are, they are mature. They are mature beings spiritually. They have wisdom. They have, they have gifts of the soul. They have experiences. They have gone through their trials and tribulations, They have things that they have overcome that have strengthened them. And one of the beautiful things I think about, because I think I'm going to make a separate video soon about the court cards, because I could talk about them all day. One of the things I really like about the King and Queen of Wands is that they still manage to find the inspiration in the difficult moments. They have, the King and Queen of Swords also have a lot of difficult moments, but while this has turned them into exceedingly, smart, sharp individuals that you cannot fool, you cannot mess with, the King and Queen of Wands still maintain a slight, energy of magic around them, right? Because they understand their spiritual purpose to everything. Everything in how they move is inspired by spirit. And when you get to the King and the Queen stage, as opposed to, like, the Knight of Wands or the Page of Wands, there is an understanding of that. There is a confidence in that, and there is a peace that comes from knowing that comes from knowing that spirit is leading them and guiding them on all parts of their journey, whether it's an easy moment or a difficult one at any given time. So you have endured quite a lot. You have experienced quite a lot. So not only are you going to be getting this success because of all of your hard work and your achievement, but you have things to say. You have the King and Queen of Wands are so magnetic because they have wisdom to share. And the way they share it is very unique. They have wisdom to share, and so they attract people to them naturally because the people who gravitate toward them need to hear what they have to say, need to receive their energy, need to be a part of what they're doing, even if for only a moment. That's why. So you've done all this work, an immense amount of work, and this is why it's culminating with this incredible, are you hearing the word offer? This incredible, yeah, I keep getting offer, opportunity, that just keeps coming up. So let's see what else you got. Knight of Swords. Aquarius season, that's what I mean. Queen of Cups. Wow, you have a lot of court cards. So there could be multiple people tied into this. And the Knight of Pentacles. I want to make note, because I was thinking about this while I was talking about the King of Wands. We have a plane here, and we also have one here. So there could be travel involved. But, you know, of your 3 other cards, we have 3 court cards. So there could be multiple people, like I said. This feels like this is about something that you have felt intuitively drawn to, especially intuitively drawn to create. You may have been taking small steps toward this. This could be an idea. This could be something that you want to, again, content you want to put out there, a book that you might want to write, something communicative. But this also feels like something where you've been gathering your resources. Jupiter's movements from Taurus into Gemini later this year, I believe it will be May 25th, may play a significant role here. If you want to know more about that transit, I did make a video about that, so you can go check that out on my page, because it's going to be a great transit. But this feels like something where intuitively you have felt led toward this. So you've been gathering your resources. You've been doing your homework. You've been tying up loose ends with distractions, especially. You've been closing out old cycles, really focusing on balancing yourself emotionally in preparation. And a lot of this, it's like, you know, you haven't really seen it like in your reality, but you just intuitively, you know it's been coming toward you. So you're like, okay, I know this is going to happen. This is that kind of energy of like, I don't know why, but I just know I'm going to be famous someday. People are going to know my name. You know, same thing with judgment here. Like, there's more for me than what I'm doing right now. And a lot of you guys may have struggled to claim that. And so maybe this message is like extra confirmation. But you've been working on this piece by piece, right? You've been maybe building connections. You've been networking. You've been, again, I feel like there's both. This is happening at like a creative and or professional level, as well as personally. So you've been closing out these old cycles. You've been finishing up the talks you need to have. You've been getting clarity on what you need to do, what steps you need to take in order to create emotional stability and balance. You have been really, really working on this, and that's why it's going to be happening. That's why things are going to be moving forward. Again, Aquarius season could be very, very important. I'm getting Aquarius season, Pisces season, and Taurus and Gemini seasons are the big ones on the board right now. So I want to pull loving messages from your guides about what they want you to know when it comes to, sorry, I'm like these, I like that. So I tried to make the deck so it's like kind of, you know, it's bigger and like it leaves room for all the text and it's like not too cramped. But my only problem is I forgot I have little itty bitty hands. So if you have normal size hands, because I'm a teeny person, I'm only like 5 feet tall. If you have normal size hands, you're probably going to be fine. Or if you like to do the vertical shuffle, which I always really struggle with that actually, but I do want to take this one. Oh, okay, so you have several. At the bottom is I respect you enough to honor you with the truth. I'm almost getting that your guides want you to know that whatever you're picking up on, what like some of you are getting these really like, you know, hype you up kind of messages, but you're not seeing it in your reality. And it's kind of like, yeah, but maybe I'm not all that. Maybe I don't really have something good on my hands. Maybe this isn't really that good. Your guides wouldn't tell you either directly or indirectly, right? Through messages, through signs, through synchronicities. Your guides wouldn't tell you to go do something or tell you that like, you got your shit on lock if you didn't, right? Because your guides respect you and your journey enough to honor you with the truth about what's going on and where you're at. If it was bad, they would tell you it was bad. If it was like, you know, if you had difficult times up ahead, they would tell you, right? They would like, they'd honor you enough to let you know that. So some of you just need to hear that. We have, yeah, talking about honor you. It's been an honor to witness your journey. I love that. Your guides really want you to know that watching you transform and evolve, it has been an honor to watch you grow into this spiritually wise, evolved, mature person that's going to help a lot of other people. It's been an honor to watch something amazing grow out of the kind of scorched earth from your initial experience, from this last part of your journey, which I think is really beautiful. Your name is my favorite word in the universe. There's just so much affection here. I also feel like your name is going to become maybe not like a household name, but like, again, you're going to be seen, you're going to be known. People are going to know who you are, even if it's just like within a company, within your community. People are going to know who you are. Your name's going to be like, oh, yeah, I heard of them. Or like, oh, yeah, that's the, that's the head of, blank department. That's that's the director of XYZ. Your name is going to be known, and I feel like your name is going to be respected, but there's also a fondness to it. People are going to, at the very least, people will respect you, but most people will also like you, which I think is really lovely. You aren't asking too much, simply receiving too little. Don't doubt yourself. Bro, can you see that? You guys see that? There we go. So this is going back to what we were talking about before. A lot of you, because the experience is so different than what you have known, it's like you may have doubted yourself. You may have doubted, especially that Page of Cups with the little goldfish, that you can grow into this next version, that you can have the things you want to manifest, that you can have everything that can go along with the King of Wands, both, the actual, and the King of Pentacles, both the actual success as well as the responsibility, and that people will respect you, that people will respect your vision, respect your journey, respect your way of doing things. And so what your guides want you to know is that you aren't asking too much. That's not an unreasonable thing to be like, could I have that? Could this be me? Could I do that? Am I allowed? That's not asking too much. It's just that before, you were receiving a lot less. You're used to receiving less. And so what you actually deserve, what appropriately values your skills, your labor, your effort, your energy, is not too much at all. It's just more than you're used to. And you may have also been used to people not being very reciprocal and not really giving a whole lot. Again, there could be a sense of invisibility if you're a creative, and you're like, yeah, I haven't had creative blocks, but nobody really seems to get my art. Nobody really seems to appreciate what I'm doing here. That's going to be changing. That had very divine purpose, but that period of purpose is expired, and now you're ready for something new. And finally, I am protecting you in my own special way. I only want you to feel safe and loved. Okay. So you have a guide who's very protective of you. I am going to clarify this a little bit more, kind of get like some hints about what this is. The Hierophant and the Hanged Man, very spiritual energy. So what I feel like, we have Pisces and Taurus. What I feel like this guide wants you to know is that, especially in this period of time where, we talked about this energy with the Hierophant and the Tower, where you've been wrapping up spiritual lessons. Hang on, sorry, I'm just getting so many messages. Where you've been wrapping up spiritual lessons and things have not been moving forward. That is your guide's way, a slowdown, so whatever this might be, we'll talk more about it in a sec. That is your guide's way of protecting you, right? Is that during this period, you've been like a cocoon. During this period of, kind of like this final forming of your beliefs, of your values, of who you really are as a person, like your reputation, what you can put your name on. You've been protected by things not coming at you as much or not moving forward as much, right? They're neither coming at you too quickly nor going away from you too quickly. So some of you have been in this period of pause. We also get this with the Empress because she's pregnant, right? And that takes a minute to make a baby. Well, takes a minute to start it. It takes 9 months to make it. It's gonna be okay. We're fine here. Anywho, so your guides really want you to know that. For some, there may be a delay in finding a spiritual partnership, not just romantic, but like finding somebody you can work with and build with. I'm seeing the Three of Pentacles. And just know that is very divinely inspired. For some, this guide wants you to know that even though it has been difficult to go through a period of having to, I'm getting the word renounce. So renounce some beliefs, renounce some seemingly very stable aspects of self. This has actually been a protection method. This has been a journey because, again, imagine the goldfish continuing to grow, but almost growing past its little fishbowl. You were growing past the limitations of what you had experienced. So breaking down your beliefs is actually a way of protecting you from not achieving your soul purpose, is kind of something I'm getting. I do want to look at the bottom. Yeah, the Ten of Wands in reverse. A lot of you have been in a period of pause, and it's kind of like things haven't been moving forward. I don't know what to do. I don't know if this is really for me. Your manifestation may have seemed like it was taking longer. And your guide is saying that by removing responsibilities, by slowing things down, it's giving you time to really like fully process and release, as well as fully step into this King of Wands energy, fully process and release the old cycle. Help you fully integrate the lessons and really have time to sit with it, right? Really have time to let it sink in a meaningful way. And that is your guide's way of protecting you from what? Okay, the Lovers, protecting you, I feel like, from making a choice that is not actually in alignment with your heart and soul. Possibly protecting you from some relationships that aren't so great, that might seem great, but that are not, are not really what you need them to be, right? It's kind of like if you know your authentic, like there may have been some relationships where they were aligned with who you used to be or who you thought you were. And then as you've been kind of in this period of really peeling back some of the layers and reevaluating, it's kind of like, oh, I'm glad I didn't commit further, especially with the Hierophant. I'm glad I didn't commit further with this. I'm glad that I was getting the courage to leave this behind. It feels like it's like, yeah, because, as I'm evolving into the person that I am becoming or that I need to be, that I'm called to be, I can see that this wouldn't have worked. I can see that this isn't working. And again, for some of you, this has been a long, drawn-out process. The Page of Wands. Yeah, exactly. So look at this. Look at this image, like pew, and then smack down. What you've been protected from is launching too quickly into something that would have just pushed you right back out, right? Because again, there's like launching themselves into the person that's about to hit them with a wand. There may have just been a lot of unnecessary resistance. There's also a sense, because this person always has the one wand and they're fending off six, and that Six of Wands is that public recognition, that fame, that notoriety, the accolades. There's a sense here where by launching too quickly into something you've been wanting to pursue, you may have unintentionally been blocking your blessings, because, this person's got the Ace here, fending off the Six. So I'm seeing these already come out in the spread. You may have been so tied to a certain belief or a certain idea and your way of doing it that you may have accidentally kind of like shot yourself in the foot, essentially. So this guide has been protecting you in their own special way by slowing things down, by keeping you in the cocoon as long as you need it. So that way you didn't, I always want to get like, that way you didn't like blow your shot. Sorry, I want to say blow your wand. But it's kind of like this idea of like the energy is all aligning for this to be a perfect setup for you, a perfect launch point, you could not get better, right? To give you the most out of your manifestation, the biggest return. And it's kind of like things have been in a period of pause because the energy is about to line up to give you everything that you've ever wanted and so much more, kind of an energy, incredible abundance. And so if you had moved on this earlier, not only would you have run the risk of not fully integrating all of the lessons, but you may have also kind of accidentally shortchanged yourself or gotten less for your efforts. So that is everything I have for you guys today. I hope this has been helpful. Like I said before, if you liked this message deck, keep an eye out. I will be making it available for purchase probably in March. But yeah, stay tuned. You can always let me know in the comments if you have questions or you have interest in it. I hope this has been helpful. I'm very excited for whoever this found because this is some really beautiful energy. So thank you for being here with me today. Take care, okay?